All right, this is a screencast review of literary devices. Um, and the first one we're going to start with is the device of allusion. We talked about allusion being an implied or indirect reference to something such as an historical event or a person, a well known quotation from literature, or a famous work of art. So the key to an allusion is that it is something that is well known, and because of that, it adds depth to the meaning that the author is trying to create. One example we might look at is that someone might say, the Paul Bunyan of a man filled the small room. If you don't know who Paul Bunyan is, it doesn't make much sense. But the illusion, of course, if you do know this, it's a reference to the tall tale of Paul Bunyan, who was this giant lumberjack that strode through the north woods of America. So knowing that lets us know that this man is not only big, but he is massive and mighty, and that's why he fills up the entire room. The key to a good illusion is that it is something familiar to the audience that gives them a sense of what the author is trying to say about a person or a situation. Illusions, like all figurative language, are used to help create meaning and understanding for the audience, so the audience has to be familiar with what is being referenced. A good thing to look out for when you're reading is that it's the use of proper nouns, capitalized nouns, because they are going to be those specific things that are well known. William Shakespeare, Pearl Harbor, the Mona Lisa, or it could be a direct quote from another work, so it would be something in quotation marks. Another literary device is the metaphor, comparison between two unlike things without using like or as. A lot of times it will use the to be verb to connect the two halves, is, are, was, were, am, to do that. And we look at an example, Tim was a bull. And it tells us that Tim is strong and aggressive without having to say that he's strong and aggressive. He was a lion in battle. He was brave, courageous, ferocious in battle. Or just he was in whatever he was doing, if you're telling us that he is that. So looking for those to be verbs like was or is or are will help with that. Um, Simile is a comparison between two things using like or as, or not unlike. In the case of Bradbury, he likes to use that a lot. He ran as fast as a cheetah instead of saying that he ran quickly. We could say he ran as fast as a cheetah, and that will let us know that he's running very quickly. You are as slow as molasses, and that tells us, well, of course, molasses is very slow, so you must be moving slowly. She was as white as a ghost, and we know we think about ghosts being white, so she must be completely pale. Gives us a wonderful visual to utilize. Personification is another one. Sometimes a writer will give human characteristics to non-human things. Objects, ideas, places, or animals may be given human qualities. They may perform human actions. It helps the writer to create an exciting picture in the reader's mind when he or she does that. A sailboat danced gracefully past us. Sailboats don't dance. The flames ate hungrily at the burning house. We saw this a lot in There Will Come Soft Rains. The once proud trees bent meekly before the storm. Trees don't have pride, but we can see that what the storm is doing to these trees. The broad, flat rock lay sunning itself by the stream, as opposed to the sun hit the rock. This is far more descriptive for us. Another one, of course, is symbol, an object that stands for itself and something greater. The title of part one is the hearth and the salamander, and those are used symbolically. We think about the hearth being symbolic of home, and the salamander is symbolic of evil, and that salamander is connected to the idea of the dragon and fire, so it connects to Montag's job. The hearth is symbolic of Montag's home life. Foreshadowing is another one that we've looked at, hints of future events that occur in the story. And for example, in A Sound of Thunder, we had several foreshadowing lines. If you disobey instructions, there's a stiff penalty. And of course, this foreshadows that he will disobey instructions and there will be a stiff penalty. He dies. Makes you think if the election had gone badly yesterday, it might be I might be here now running away from the results. Thank God Keith won. He'll make a fine president. Of course, this foreshadows by the end of the story that Keith will not win the election and that the world will change for the worse in that case. So those are the 6 literary devices that we've talked about. Allusion, metaphor, simile, personification, symbol, and foreshadowing.